Hi guys, my name's Jeff. Welcome to the channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. So I want to tell you a little bit about this new camera I just got. It's the Sony a7 IV. It's a mirrorless camera. It's a camera that I never knew existed about a month and a half ago. I am a professional photographer in Seattle. My specialty is headshot photography. I also do medical photography, and I do photos of animals and donuts. And I'm perfectly happy with the camera system I had been shooting, which is the Canon EOS 80D. I've got all the lenses, and you know, that camera's just been a workhorse. I think I've had it for about 4 years, and it's just been solid, it's been reliable, and I just love shooting with that Canon camera. And I really don't see any reason to change. You know, like as a photographer over the years, you come to depend upon your equipment, and if it works well, you just stick with it. But I had some things come up recently where clients were asking me to do videos for them. And so I just made do with using the Canon 80D as a video camera. And you know, it's a great camera for video. There's no problem, there's nothing wrong with it. But you know, people were paying me really well to do videos, and I just felt like there was something more I could offer them in higher quality video. And so I thought, you know, maybe I should just get the Sony camera, this, you know, a7 IV. I'd get higher quality video. The main thing that pushed me over the edge and helped me decide to get this camera is that with the 80D, you'd get 30 minutes max, and then the camera just stops, and then you have to start another clip. And sometimes when you're shooting video and it's for a client, some of the best footage could happen after that, you know, camera shuts off and you're kind of stuck. You can miss stuff. And so rather than having everything start and stop, I decided, you know what, I should just get this new camera. So I got this camera here mainly because I needed a good video camera. I thought if I can use this, I can shoot better videos for my clients. I'll feel better about the work I deliver. And I could even use this camera as my main camera and then use the 80D, which still shoots excellent video, as like a second camera. You know, shoot from another angle, use a different lens. So, you know, I thought about it because this was a pretty expensive camera to get, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to switch away from Canon. I've been using Canon cameras for years, but it was the best decision that I ever made, and I'm not sponsored by anybody to say this. I really didn't know when this arrived how it would work, but let me tell you this. I got this camera, I think it showed up on a Wednesday. It got delivered by Amazon on a Wednesday. The next day, I had a video shoot lined up, and I shot this camera on that video shoot with no experience. Everything came out as sharp as could be. The colors were beautiful, and I was able to shoot for more than a half hour without having to stop and start and all that stuff. So I got a video file that was like real easy to use. And so right there, that first job, it paid for this camera. I think the first job I got about $27.50, and I think that's about how much this cost. The crazy thing that happened was in the month since I bought it, so I bought this a month ago. In that month, I have gotten more work than I think I've ever got before. And so in those first few shoots, I just started to earn a lot, and I just decided they were all still photo shoots except for that first video shoot I mentioned. They were all headshots and some stuff for websites. I was doing some social media photos, and I got hired for one advertising shoot. And so each of those paid pretty well. And I was hesitant to shoot this camera as a still camera because I didn't have any practice. So I would start the shoot using the Canon, and then I would switch on over to this camera and just shoot a few more. It's kind of like riding a bike with training wheels. I just wasn't ready to totally depart the system I'd been using for years. So I would just shoot like a bunch of headshots with the Canon, and when I knew I had something useful or usable, then I would switch over and shoot with this. So that lasted like 2 weeks. I'll tell you about the first shoot, the first major shoot I had with this. I was doing an award ceremony. I got hired to just shoot a bunch of pictures of people getting awards. And then they said, hey, could you shoot some headshots since you're here? And fortunately, I'd had everything set up and I just have all my gear with me all the time, so I'm always ready to do this. So I set up for headshots, and you know, people are stepping in front of this background I set up, and I'm just focusing and holding the camera up and I'm shooting. And I thought we might do like 3 or 4 or 5. They told me there would be a few headshots to do, but I mean, everybody at the company came up to have a headshot done. And they were coming in such rapid succession that my flash head, which is running off of a battery pack, it's a mono head, the mono flash just like quit. The battery ran out. But fortunately I packed a second flash unit and I was able to switch those up pretty quickly. But what was great is I started shooting with the Canon, as I mentioned, and then I just decided to use this for all of them. This camera has something that no other camera I've ever used has. And you know, it's real easy to get lost in features and details. And there are so many, you know, reviews and YouTube videos about different technical things. But one thing above all else, the autofocus on this camera is insanely fast. So when you know, you can configure it and tell it exactly what to focus on. So I chose eye focus, and you can even specify within that how specific you want to get. But I set it on eye focus. And this thing is like a magnet for people's eyes. The autofocus on this camera, it's set up in such a way that it searches out the eye and it focuses on it. And people can move around in the frame. They can look away and look back. A lot of times the people I'm photographing are moving, and this thing is able to just find that eye and track it. This is incredible. It even has an ability to set it for whether you're photographing people, human eyes, or animals, like, you know, dog or a cat or something, a bunny rabbit, or a bird. So apparently focusing on different kinds of eyes, you know, it has a different algorithm for all those things. But anyway, I was blown away doing headshot photography, how fast this camera is. And that I never realized with all the other cameras, including the 80D, how I was having to wait a little bit for the camera to find focus and for it to lock on. And I've even set it to show me when I play back the photos. I have it show me where it focused, and it will just has a little green square around the eye it shows for focus. Anyways, this camera has just been incredible. So that first shoot was about 19 headshots. Like I said, it fried the battery. It blew out one of my strobe lights, so it just quit. But the camera kept focusing, it kept going, and it made that job so much easier. And then let's see, the next shoot I did was more of taking a bunch of photos for someone's company. They wanted them for social media use. And so I had this photo session where there was a guy in a conference room, and I set up a background, and you know, he was like talking. Actually, I was asking him to tell me about his favorite sports, because it was just a photo shoot. We weren't recording audio. So he was gesturing and he was talking, and the whole time I'm just holding the camera and shooting and trusting the camera to lock focus on him. And I mean, we're talking, I maybe shot 75 to 100 pictures, and every one of them is usable. And you just have to understand, going from the days when I used to have to manually focus my camera to relatively slow autofocus, now I'm actually able to shoot so I can use just about every shot. I'd say I got to use every shot I wanted, so you never have to like edit out shots that are useless because they're out of focus. So that's been pretty good. That was my second shoot. My third shoot was a similar kind of situation where they just needed a whole bunch of pictures of this guy, and they hired me to spend some time while he was doing a presentation, like a mock presentation in front of a whiteboard. And again, I was amazed how he could be even sideways to me and the camera would catch the focus on his eye, and all I had to do was compose and shoot. And then I did a shoot just the other day, which was in a scientific laboratory. It was all researchers and coders, and they needed to have some portraits, headshots done. And again, I'm able to have conversations with people while I'm taking the pictures, and it's able to lock focus. So it's kind of like makes it much easier to have conversations and chat with people while you're shooting pictures, because you don't have to use up any of your brain power on the technical part of focusing the camera. The other thing is this lens that I got. It's a Tamron 70 to 180 2.8 lens. I really didn't know which lenses to get for this camera. I know that their 85 1.8 is a phenomenal lens. I just wanted something that would get me a little closer for the portrait use. And because this includes the 85 in the zoom, this is a 70 to 180, so it includes 85 right up to 180. I thought I'll give this a try. This has just been stellar, and it's fast. It's so fast. Those are all the photo shoots. I counted 10 shoots. I almost feel as though getting this camera kind of brought the universe to my aid, and all these jobs came along just to say, like, you made the right decision. We're gonna pay you enough so that you can pay for this camera you just got. I think the main one, the biggie, was that video shoot the day after the camera arrived, to set it up and not have to worry about it, quality be top notch, and knowing that the video that I deliver to my client is gonna be really high level and in focus. It's a nice feeling. That's my wrap up. That's my 1 month with this particular camera. It's easy to get lost with all the details of all the features. And if I were to sum up one of the major differences between a lot of the videos I saw on YouTube and then the friends I have who are photographers, there are so many features and details discussed online. You know, when it can like make your head explode trying to keep track of all that stuff. But professional photographers, we don't really talk about all these details of cameras. We look through the camera. We literally are just seeing things and reacting and using our instinct and trying to grab these moments so we can get this job done well, so we can get on to the next job, so we can do a great set of photos for our client, and then just keep moving and keep generating jobs and keep working and keep getting better. So I'll speak for myself. I'm not a technical person. I do not know a lot about specs, and I in some ways resist buying new stuff because the things I already have work well enough. So that's why watching a few videos about this camera was a little bit, it was confusing. It's really made it fun again to shoot because it's offloading all the work that my brain used to have to do. I'm able to just move through situations as a photographer and just rest easy as a videographer, knowing that the camera's doing its job. I never realized how much heavy lifting a camera could do. And I'm kind of blown away by the computer, by the chip in this camera and its ability to do what it does, both as a 4K video camera, but also the autofocus system. I did not realize how powerful this was. And that's why I felt getting this camera was sort of a risk, because it's expensive. And I just didn't know, honestly, if this was something I needed and whether it was worth it. In truth, this has just been a huge change. That's my A7 IV review after a month of using this. If you guys have any questions about it, if you're thinking about using it, or if there's something that I missed that you think other people would like to read about, please put them down below in the comment section, because I can't wait to hear from you guys. I want to know what you think of this camera. And also, you know, this lens. Maybe you guys have tried the 70 to 180 Tamron. And if you have, what did you think of it? Do you think it was as good as I think it is? Because every portrait I've shot with this, I've been just delighted. And by the way, the files that come out of this are just so beautiful. That's the other thing. I didn't even mention the quality of the photos, but I was happy with the ones on that the Canon produced. Very happy. But you know, there's just something to it. I guess this is a newer technology. Maybe the megapixels are more and this makes a better image, but overall I'm just getting a nicer, you know, the canvas that is painted on this chip in this camera is so much more robust and so much more sensitive and plentiful and beautiful. So I think all around it's pretty nice. And the only thing to add to something like this would be a really nice camera bag. And fortunately I was able to find one that Tenba makes, and it's actually weatherproof, which is what I need because I'm in Seattle and it rains a lot here. And even when I travel, you know, there's always water, there's rain, there's drizzle, and it's nice to just have something to put your camera and your lenses in and throw it on your back. And the nice thing about this backpack is it's so lightweight. You know, all my other camera bags were so big and so heavy that I never wanted to bring them with me. That's the deal with my Canon gear. It weighs like 30, 40 pounds and I just don't want to bring it. So I take pictures with my phone. But I think this is going to be traveling with me more because I've got a great backpack. I'll put a card up above, like a link, so that you can check out my review of one of the bags that I got. And yeah, so I'm glad that you stopped by and watched this. If you haven't already, please give this video a like. That way the YouTube algorithm will let other people know about it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. That way you'll, get notifications when I make more videos like this. So glad you stopped by. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.